Hey everyone, it's Darla from Crafty Yarn Owl. Today we're going to make this top, and it has this cute little panel going down the back, or you can have it down the front if you like. It's up to you. What you're going to do first is you're going to make a chain that goes all the way around the biggest part of your body. I always go for the girls, but if it's lower here, then do that. So just make a chain that's going to fit all the way around. If you want your top looser, make a longer chain. And we'll do multiples of 8 plus 2. So what I did was I met the chain at the middle, and then I added another 8, and then the 2. Now as you work it, the chain is actually going to shrink a little bit. And that's where the panel comes in. And that's going to just help close your top. That's about it. That's all you need to do. I mean, just use your body as a mannequin. It's not hard. We'll be working top down, so you can make it as long as you want, or as short as you want. And I also give you an option of wider straps. For my beautiful purple top, I use this mimosa yarn. It Halaza 62%, a golden 38% rayon. Okay, I think I got this at Annie's. I'm not really sure. It's about a 2-weight yarn. I don't know if it has that. I don't know if any of these numbers are a color number, but it's a purple with a kind of a dark purple streamer wrapped around it. And there are 100 grams, 220 meters, 3.52 ounces, 240.5 yards. So I had it in big cakes, and so I weighed my top and calculated, used roughly 750 yards, and that's for a large size. And I used a 5mm hook. I was going to use a 6mm after I got below the girls, but I forgot, which would have made a little bit more of a flare on the bottom. And the usual suspects, you'll need a darning needle, pair of scissors, and some stitch markers. I'm using a different yarn than I used to make the actual top, because the top I'm making in a dark purple, so this one should be easier to see on screen. So I'm just going to show you the stitch. First of all, this yarn is from Ice Yarns, the number 71202. If you're interested, go to Ice Yarns and punch in that number. This exact yarn will come up in this color. Okay, I'm using a 4mm hook. Okay, so we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. And then this pattern is in multiples of 8 plus 2. For my size, which is about a large, I chained 120 plus 2. Let's make a chain that's in multiples of 8 and then add 2. Okay, for the sample, I have chained 32, which is a multiple of 8 4 times. And then I'm going to add 2 more. So if you want to jump ahead, I'm going to make 4 rows of single crochets. Okay. Skip the first chain right here. Go in the next one with a single crochet. So my chain was 120 plus 2. That means I ended up with 121 single crochets. Okay, I will see you at the end of this row. I'm at the end of the first row of single crochets, and you'll be making 3 more rows for a total of 4. So at the end of the row, we chain 1, we turn. And that very first stitch, right there, we're going to make a single crochet. And then we'll make a single crochet in every stitch all the way to the very end. And then again, you'll chain 1 and turn and make your next 2 single crochet rows for a total of 4. I'll see you at the end of the 4th row of single crochets. I'm at the end of the 4th row of single crochets. All right, so row 5 is just going to be the row that sets up your design, and then we'll be repeating row 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now don't worry, they're not hard rows. I normally like a 1 or 2 row repeat, but this will be a 4 row repeat, and I'm going to show you in detail how to make the stitch. And it's not that hard. So yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Okay, so let's go on to row 5. So at the end of every row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. All right. So in the first stitch, we're going to make a single crochet. And then we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go on the next one with a fan. Now a fan is 4 double crochets that are separated by a chain 1. So let's do that. A double crochet, chain 1, in the same spot, double crochet, chain 1, in the same spot, double crochet, chain 1. So we have 3 double crochets, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and make 1 more double crochet in that same spot. Okay, then we're going to chain 1 to get to the next stitch. We're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the stitch after that, we're going to make a single crochet. That single crochet will lock down your fan. Okay, then we're going to chain 1, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go in your next stitch and make a fan. So that was a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Okay, so you have a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and then 1 more double crochet, all in the same stitch. And then we're going to chain 1 to get to our next stitch. We'll skip 1, 2, 3, go in the next stitch with a single crochet to lock down that fan. And that's what we're going to be repeating across this row. All right, let's do it again. So I've made the single crochet, chain 1, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go in the next stitch with our fan. It's a double crochet, chain 1, a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and 1 more double crochet, all in the same stitch. Okay, that's our fan. And then we'll chain 1. We'll skip the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Go in the next one with a single crochet. Okay, then chain 1. Skip 3. 1, 2, 3. Go in your next stitch with a fan. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Okay, you will have 4 stitches left. So do that chain 1, skip 3 stitches, and then you're going to make a single crochet into the very last stitch. You will always start and end your rows with the same stitch. We made a single crochet at the beginning of the row, and we'll make a single crochet at the end of the row. All right, so that is row 5. Let's go on to row 6, which is the first of the 4 row repeats, repeating 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, chain 1 and turn. In that very first stitch, we're going to make 2 double crochets. It's 1 and 2. Chain 2. And then we're going to go into the middle of our fan, right in the middle, and we're going to make a single crochet, a chain 1, and a single crochet right in the middle. Then we're going to chain 2. We're going to go to our next stitch, which is this single crochet here, and we're going to make a V-stitch. So V-stitch is a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet in the same spot. There are different forms of V-stitches, but this is what we're using in this pattern. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into that single crochet. Okay, then we chain 2. We're going to just repeat. So right in the center of our fan, we're going to put a single crochet, chain 1, and a single crochet. Then we'll chain 2. And then we're going to put a V-stitch into our next stitch, which is that single crochet. So again, the V-stitch is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And then we'll chain 2, go to our fan, go right in that center of our fan, put a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Chain 2. Our next stitch is a single crochet, so we'll put a V-stitch in there, which is a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Looking pretty. All right, chain 2. And then we have our fan, go in the center of our fan and put a single crochet, chain 1, and a single crochet. Then chain 2, go into our very, very, very last stitch and do what we did at the beginning of the row. We put 2 double crochets at the beginning, so we'll put 2 double crochets in that very end stitch. And that is row 6. So that's the first of our 4 row repeat. Okay, so we've done 4 rows of single crochets, and then our setup row is row 5, and then we've just completed row 6. So at the end of each row, we chain 1 and turn. Let's go on to row 7. In the very first stitch of row 7, we are going to make a double crochet. Okay, we have those 2 double crochets from the previous row here. Go in that end one with a double crochet and a V-stitch in the same stitch. So a V-stitch was a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. All right, so in that first stitch, we have a double crochet and then a V-stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1, And the next stitch we're going to go into is this single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. We're going to go right in the middle, right in that chain 1 that's in the middle. Okay, you can see it there. Single crochets have these 2 legs, and there's the other single crochet with 2 legs. Right in the middle is our chain 1. So we want to go in there with a single crochet. Okay, right around that chain 1. Just put a single crochet. All right, so now we're going to chain 1. And then we're going to go over to our V-stitch, and we're going to put a fan in our V-stitch. Okay, so our fan is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and one more double crochet. Okay, that's our fan. And then we're going to chain 1. Next stitch we're going to is this single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Go right in the very middle where that chain 1 is and make a single crochet. And then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go to our V-stitch and make our fan. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and one more double crochet. Okay, then we'll chain 1 to get to our next stitch. Here's our next stitch, that single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Right in the middle where that chain 1 is, we're going to make a single crochet. And then we'll chain 1. Next is our V-stitch. We'll make a fan in the V-stitch. And there's our fan. And then we'll chain 1. Our next stitch we need to go into is this single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Go right in that chain 1 or around it and put a single crochet. And then chain 1. When you're at your end the row of the row, we're going to do what we did at the beginning, but it's going to be turned around. We did a double crochet and then a V-stitch. We're going to do a V-stitch and then a double crochet. All right, in that very last stitch. So we'll do a V-stitch, which is a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. And then we'll put a double crochet in there. And that completes row 7, which is our second row of the 4-row repeat. Okay, so what do we do at the end of the row? We chain 1 and turn. All right, so let's go on to row 8. So in that very first stitch, we're going to put 2 single crochets. It's 1 and 2. And then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Next stitch we're going to go into is this single crochet all by itself. And we're going to make a V-stitch. So right in that single crochet, make a V-stitch, which again is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. All right, so now we're going to chain 2. Next stitch we're going into is our fan. go into the center of it with a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. So single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. We're going to chain 2. Next stitch we're going into is that single crochet. So we're going to make a V-stitch in there. So it's a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So keep repeating. So we chain 2, go to our fan, go in that center of our fan with a single crochet, chain 1, and a single crochet. Okay, then chain 2. Next stitch is a single crochet that we're going to go into. So we're going to make a V-stitch, a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, and chain 2. And there's our fan. Go in the center of our fan with a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Do our chain 2, single crochet here. We're going to go into that with our V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Okay, we're coming to the end of the row. Excuse me. So chain 2, and then we'll go into that very last stitch with 2 single crochets. That's 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets. We have just completed row 8, which is the 3rd row of our 4-row repeat. Let's go on to row 9. At the end of the rows, we always chain 1 and turn our work. Okay, so for row 9, we're going to make a single crochet in that very first stitch. One single crochet. We're going to chain 1. Next stitch we're going into is this V-stitch. We're going to put a fan in there. All right, so double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, there's our fan. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, go to our next stitch, which is this single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, go right in the middle where that chain 1 is and put 1 single crochet. Chain 1, go to our V-stitch and make a fan. Okay, there's our fan. And then we'll chain 1. The next stitch is that single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Put 1 single crochet right in the middle in that chain 1 space. And then chain 1. Go to our V-stitch. Make our fan in the V-stitch. Okay, there's our fan. Chain 1. Go to that single crochet, chain 1 single crochet, and put a single crochet right in the middle of it in that chain 1 space. Okay, chain 1, we're up to the V-stitch. Make a fan in the V-stitch. Okay, there's our fan. Then we'll chain 1. And at the end of the row, we are going to make a single crochet in that very last stitch. Remember, we end with the same kind of stitch we started our row with. Okay, so single crochet right in that very end stitch. Now you're at the end of row 9. I'm going to help you get started on each of the rows again. Let's repeat our 4-row repeat, starting with row 6. So now we're going to chain 1 and turn, like we do at the end of every row. Okay, we're going to put 2 double crochets in our first stitch. It's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. Okay, now we're going to chain 2. Now we have our fan next, so we're going to put a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet right in the middle. Okay, so it's single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Chain 2. The next stitch we have is this single crochet. We'll put a V-stitch in there. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right, chain 2. Our next stitch is our fan. We'll put a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet right in that center space. Chain 2. Then we have a single crochet here. We'll put a V-stitch in the single crochet. So that's a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right, and we're going to chain 2. Go to our next fan. In the center, put a single crochet, chain 1, and a single crochet. Okay, our next is a single crochet. We put a V-stitch in there after we chain 2 here, of course. And I'll see you at the end of the row. We're at the end of row 10, which was a repeat of row 6. I've made my single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in that middle of that fan, and then I've chained 2. So now I'm going to put two double crochets at the end of this row, because that's how we started our row, with 2 double crochets. Now let's repeat row 7. Chain 1 and turn. Now row 7 is where we started with the double crochet and then the V-stitch. So let's make a double crochet in the first stitch and then make a V-stitch in the same stitch. So V-stitch is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, now we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to go to our next stitch, which is a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Go in that chain 1 with a single crochet. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1. Now we're at the V-stitch. We're going to put a fan in the V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And then chain 1, and then we'll put a single crochet in that chain 1 space between those 2 single crochets. and chain 1. We're at our V-stitch. We'll put a fan in our V-stitch, chain 1, and then we put a single crochet in that chain 1 between those 2 single crochets, and then we'll chain 1 and keep repeating until the end of the row. And I'll see you at the end of the row. We're now at the end of repeating row 7, which is the second row of the 2-row repeat. I've chained 1. So at the very end stitch, we're going to make a V-stitch. So that's double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet, and then we're going to make a double crochet in that same stitch. Now let's go on to repeating row 8. Chain 1 and turn. We'll put 2 single crochets in that very first stitch. Chain 2. And then in our single crochet right here, we'll put a V-stitch. We'll chain 2. And then in the center of our fan, we're going to put single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, and then chain 2. In our single crochet right here, we're going to put a V-stitch. All right, chain 2. Go to the middle of our fan and put a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Chain 2. There's our single crochet. We'll put a V-stitch in there. Chain 2. Keep repeating and I'll meet you at the end of this row. I'm at the end of repeating row 8. In that very last stitch, we're going to put 2 single crochets after we've chained 2 here. Okay, so it's 2 single crochets. Okay, then chain 1 and turn. Now we'll go on to repeating row 9, which is the last row of the 4-row repeat. Okay, we will do a single crochet in the very first stitch. We'll chain 1. And our next stitch is a V-stitch. We're going to put a fan in there. So let's make a fan. Okay, there's our fan. And then we're going to chain 1. Our next stitch is this single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Put a single crochet in that chain 1 space in the middle. Chain 1. We have a V-stitch. We're going to fan into the V-stitch. All right, now we're going to chain 1 after our fan. Next stitch is the single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Put a single crochet in that chain space in the middle. And chain 1, and then fan. Put a single crochet in that chain 1 between those 2 single crochets, and then fan into the V-stitch, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Now I'm at the end of repeating row 9. Okay, I've chained 1, and in that very last stitch we'll do the same thing that we did at the beginning of the row, which was put a single crochet in the very last stitch. right, then you chain 1 and you turn, and you keep repeating rows 6, 7, 8, and 9 until you have the desired length. I made a total of 41 rows. That's counting the 4 single crochet rows at the top and then this one setup row, which measures 17.5 inches or 45 centimeters. Okay, this is the part that goes just above your girls and then down to the length you want it to be. Mine is close to the bottom of my rear end. So what we have is a rectangle. I have the yarn still attached. We end up on the right side of the work. I'm going to go down the side of the stitches and we're going to make rows of single crochets. Keep track of how many you do on this side because you'll be doing the same number on the other side. I've chained 1 and then I'm going to go into the rows with single crochets. We have our first one here. I'm going to mark that first one. So anytime you see a double crochet, you're going to put 2 single crochets around it. And for single crochets, you'll put 1 single crochet. Every now and then check your row to make sure it's flat and not bunched up. That looks like a single. We just want to make sure it's going to lay flat. See you at the end of this row. All right, I made 91 single crochets along the side and it's laying flat, so that's all I'm concerned about. You may have a different number because your length may be different than mine. All right, so that is 1 row of single crochets. So chain 1 and turn, and then we'll make a single crochet into each of those single crochets all the way to the bottom. And at this point, I'm not sure how many rows of single crochets I want to make. I'm going to make enough rows so that I have the same amount of rows on this side as I will on the other side. Let me show you. Okay, so this is the opening. Say I may decide to make 10 rows of single crochets on one side. I'm going to make the same number on the other side. And then we're going to do something to hold them together so that your top is closed. All right, now I've done 11 rows of single crochets on one side. I pinned it together, I pulled it on over my head to see if I need to make more single crochets here, and I don't. So I'm going to make 11 rows of single crochets on the other side as well. So that's going to add an additional, what is that, 1.5 inches on this side as well. I made 11 rows of single crochets on this side and 11 rows on that side, and then I just simply pin them together. We'll be closing the top with a form of the mattress stitch. And then you can determine if you want the panel down the front of your shirt or down the back. Now, I have taken a piece of yarn that's about 3 times the length of what I want to sew. What I'm going to do is go in with my needle, grab 2 loops on the one side and 2 loops across from it. All right, then I'm going to tie it on, and we could sew that in later. And then I'm going to go to the next stitch. We have these 2 loops. I'm just going to go from the inside under that loop. Okay. And then I'm going to go across to the stitch across from it. I'm going to go from the inside. Let's see. Go for the inside, and then we have those 2 loops. I'm going to go under the one closest to me. from the inside. Pull it through, then come across to your next stitch. Go under the loop that's on the inside, the one that's furthest away from you. Go across to the other side. Where's my next one? Right here. Go under that one loop that's on the inside that's closest to you. Go under it. And keep doing that. But as you do a few stitches, pull a little bit tight. Pull to the side. A little bit tight. Okay, go to our next stitch and just keep doing that. Go under the loop from the inside that's furthest away from you. Go across to the next stitch. And go under the loop that's closest to you from the inside. All right, and just keep doing that. It doesn't have to be perfect. So keep doing that all the way to the end. Now I'm at the end and I'm just going to go under both loops on both sides. And make a knot. Like so. All right. And I'm going to make another knot just to make sure it's not going to come out. And then just sew the end in. All right, on to the next step. Okay, now what I've done is I've decided that I want this panel to go right down the middle of my back. If you have it right down want to have it right down the middle of your front, do this same step. Now what I did was I folded my piece so that the panel half was on this side and half was on the other side. And then what I did was I went to these other ends here, put the stitch markers right at the end. So this is going to be where your underarm is. And then I counted from the first stitch from your panel all the way up to where my stitch marker was. So I counted 29. So I did the same thing on the other side, counted 29. Whatever your number is, just make sure they're the same number on both sides. For this next step, if you want your panel down the front of your shirt, put it on with the panel at the front. Now for the next step, I pulled it over top of a tank top. My stitch markers are there under my arms, and I roughly mark where I want the straps to go. Okay, so about here, and then we're going to do some counting of the stitches again. Okay, so about there and about there. About there. And roughly about there. So this is what I've done. We have our underarm right here. I counted the number of stitches I have here up to the next stitch marker. Did the same on the other side, and then from this stitch marker to this one, which is the strap's going to be about this wide. We need to have multiples of 8 here, so starting with one stitch marker, I counted over and I put the other stitch marker in the 8th stitch. If you want your strap twice as wide, and if you have enough room on your top to do that, then you would do a multiple of 8, so you may do 16 stitches. Now, if your top is a little wider than mine, mine measures like right across about 17 inches, which is about a size large. So my strap is going to be just this wide, but what you can do is you can count 16 stitches rather than 8, and then you can make your strap twice as wide if you have the room. And all you do is you repeat the same pattern for the wider strap. Now the narrow strap, the pattern is a little different in that we don't have as many stitches to work across, so we can't get the entire pattern in, but we still have our fans and our single crochets and our V-stitches and that. They're all down the center. I'm going to show you how to make this smaller one. So for the wider one, I did 2 multiples of 8. So I made a chain of 16 and then added the 2. So 16 plus 2. Okay, let's make the strap. I'm going to leave a long tail for sewing in. We're going to sew the strap on. Make a slip knot. You can certainly make your strap using single crochets or double crochets if you don't want to have this pattern on the straps. So I'm going to chain 8 plus 2. Okay, to start off, I'm going to make single crochets. So we'll skip that first chain, go in the second one with single crochet. We're making single crochets all across this row. If you want to jump ahead, we'll be making 2 rows of single crochets. All right, I'm at the very end of that first single crochet row. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Put a single crochet in the very first stitch and in every stitch all the way to the end of the row. Then we'll have a total of 2 single crochet rows. That's the second row of single crochets done. We're going to go to the setup row, and then we'll be repeating rows. Let's see, this one is row 1, 2. Setup row will be 3. So we'll be repeating rows 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is chain 1 and turn. Then we're going to put a single crochet in the very first stitch. I'm going to chain 1, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go in the next stitch with a fan, like you've been making all along. Okay, there's our fan. Then we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go in that very last stitch with a single crochet. All right, that's our setup row. So the next 4 rows we make, we're going to be repeating. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. In the very first stitch, we're going to make 2 double crochets. Then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to go into that center of our fan, and we're going to make a single crochet, chain 1, and a single crochet. Just like we've been doing. Now we'll chain 2. We'll go to the very end stitch, and we're going to put 2 double crochets in there. So we'll be ending the rows with the same thing we started the rows with. We just completed the first row of the 4-row repeat. And then we'll chain 1 and turn. Right in that very first stitch, we're going to make a double crochet and a V-stitch. So there's our double crochet. And then we'll make a V-stitch in the same spot. Okay, then we'll chain one. And then in our chain one between these two single crochets, we're going to put a single crochet. And then we're going to chain one. Going to go to the very end stitch, put a V-stitch and a double crochet. So we'll do the V-stitch first. And then a double crochet. All right, go on to the next row, chain one, and turn. It works out fairly quickly once you get your pattern in your head. All right, 2 single crochets in the first stitch. 1 and 2. Then we'll chain 2. And then we'll go to our single crochet in the middle here. And we're going to make a V-stitch in there. Okay, then we're going to chain 2. Going to go into the very last stitch and make 2 single crochets. One single and 2 singles. And that completes row 3 of the 4-row repeat. Okay, then we're going to chain 1 and turn. Then we're going to put a single crochet in that very first stitch. Okay, then chain 1. And then we're going to make a fan into the middle of our V-stitch. Okay, then we're going to chain 1. Go right to the very end stitch and put a single crochet in there. All right, so those are our 4 rows we'll be repeating. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Should we repeat them again? Sure. All right, chain 1 and turn. Put 2 double crochets in the first stitch. Chain 2 in the center of your fan. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Chain 2. And then put your 2 double crochets in the very last stitch. Okay, that's the first row of the 4-row repeat. We're repeating again. Okay, chain 1 and turn. Put a double crochet and a V-stitch in the very first stitch. And chain 1. Go into the middle of our single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Go in that chain 1 with a single crochet. Chain 1, and then the very last stitch, we're going to make a V-stitch and a double crochet. That's the second row of the 2-row repeat. Okay, then we'll chain 1, turn, make 2 single crochets in that first stitch. Chain 2, and then in our single crochet over here, we're going to make a V-stitch. Okay, then chain 2, go to our very last stitch, and make 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. Okay, chain 1 and turn. First stitch, we'll make a single crochet. We'll chain 1. In the center of our V-stitch, we're going to make a fan. Okay, then we'll chain 1, go to our very end stitch, and make a single crochet in there. And then repeat those 4 rows again until you have the length of strap that you would like to have. Okay, here's the first strap I made. So it consists of 2 rows of single crochets and then 1 row of the setup row, and then the 4-row repeat. And I did the 4-row repeat 6 times all together, and then ended with 2 rows of single crochets. So I have a total of 29 rows from beginning to end. Mine measures 12 inches or 30 centimeters. Now you may need to make yours shorter or longer. Pin it on and try it on. This is totally custom made. Now I have the strap at the length I need. So now we're going to add 2 single crochet rows on here. So chain 1 and turn. Go in that very first stitch with a single crochet. Then I'm going to go into this chain 1, go around it with a single crochet. And then we have these 4 double crochets that have a chain 1 in between each one. We're just going to work in the double crochets. Okay, go in the first double crochet with a single crochet. Go in the next double crochet with a single crochet. Just go right past those chain 1s. Go in the next double crochet, oops, with a single crochet. Go in the next double crochet with a single crochet. And then go in this chain 1 with a single crochet. And then go in the very end stitch with a single crochet. So if you're making your strap this width, you should have 8 single crochets. All right, and then we chain 1 and turn, and then we put a single crochet into each of these 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to leave a long tail for sewing the strap on. And then we're going to go on to our next step. Now we're going to attach the straps. I've already attached one over here. And so where we had marked the front, what I did for the back was I just counted 4 over towards the middle of your top. 4 over from this stitch marker. I have my top inside out right now. We're going to just go ahead and sew these on using the tails that we left long. Thread the needle. And what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to go into the chain. I'm going to go into the single crochet right below. So I'm going to go right through there. Okay, then I'm just going to look on the other side and see where my single crochet is over here. And then I'm going to come across and go under 2 loops of our stitch here. And then go to the next one, just into that single crochet right under the chain. I tell you, this was easier on the couch. Okay. It's just going to make it stronger if it's in that single crochet row, I believe. Okay, just keep doing that until you get to your other stitch marker and tie it off, and I'll meet you there. Okay, I have it sewn on. I removed the stitch markers, and now I'm just going to make a knot. This yarn was so nice working with, but I noticed when I'm tying these knots, it likes to split on me. All right, so then I'm just going to weave it in. Weave in the end, and then you'll do the other end of your strap the same way, of course, and make sure your strap is laying flat, not twisted when you go to sew the other end on. And then we can cut that one off. So when you have your strap completely sewn on, I'll see you after that. All right, both straps are on, looking good, looking good. Okay, now we're going to do a single crochet all the way around the straps, around the front, around the other strap, and around the back. I'm going to start at the back. And then we're going to do a single crochet all around the strap and the underarm on both sides. I'm going to start around the middle of the back, put some single crochets in there. So put a slip knot on my hook and pick a space, go in there, pull your yarn through, and then chain 1 and put a single crochet in that first one, single crochet in each one all the way to the strap, and I'll meet you there. Okay, I'm up to the strap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 single crochets right at the corner, 3 in the same stitch. Okay, and then we have these 2 rows of single crochets. So we'll put 1 crochet at the end, 1 single crochet at the end of each one of those. And then anytime you have a double crochet at the end, you're going to put two single crochets in your double crochets. If there's a single crochet, you'll put 1 single crochet. So as long as it's not, bunching up, as long as it's lying flat, then it's good. All right, so keep doing that. Do that at all your corners, around the neckline and everything, and then do your under your arms, and I'll meet you when we're done. When you get to the end of your row, around the neckline, the back, and the straps, just slip stitch into that first single crochet you made. And cut your yarn, and then go to your underarms and do those up the straps, and then back down. I'm going to go ahead and do the underarms, and I'll be back after that. Okay, one more thing. Slip knot on our hook. This is my little back piece. I'm going into the stitch before our single crochet panel with a slip stitch. And then I'm going to work a single crochet into the ends of each of those single crochet rows. So I'm not going to go in this stitch. I'm going to go in the next one with a single crochet. Just going to make single crochets right across this piece right here. That's our single crochet rows. I'm coming up to the end. And then I'm going to go into the one stitch past our panel with a slip stitch. Then chain one. Okay, then we pull our yarn out, pull up a loop and cut it and sew it in, and we're done. Thank you everyone for joining me today. If you do make this top, I would love to see pictures in my Facebook group, which is always linked below. And please like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. All those little things you do helps out the channel a lot. And I appreciate all of you. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And may the good Lord bless you. And please check out the videos I have linked at the end of this video. Thank you so much, everyone. See you again as soon as I can.